Welcome to the Clashing of Steel. And today I am playing Leonidas, a commander that is incredible at holding his ground against even the most retarded odds. But I'm not gonna stand my ground today. Instead, I'm gonna use him to push. He's kinda like the spear version of Germanicus. Someone who you don't want to go close to. And someone who can annihilate you in melee combat. At least if he is played correctly. Perhaps what makes this commander special is that he is one of the best defensive commanders. He can withstand pretty much any ranged fire, well, maybe not the catapult or light artillery, but the basic ranged fire, with the fight in the shades, and of course he can easily withstand against most melee opponents with the phalanx and annihilate them with the shield bash. But today my focus will be on the fight in shades. And I'm already going to be engaged in a matter of seconds. Yeah, the dogs were let loose and they targeted me. Fortunately, they came from the side or the corner, so to say, which incredibly enough reduced their effectiveness. Don't get me wrong, the dogs can still be rather strong against the spearmen. But they didn't get the chance to do huge damage with a charge impact, which they pretty much failed. As I did lose a lot of troops, their losses were much more significant. And this is where everything gets nasty. Many of the ranged units are going to shoot at me. I'm not afraid to fight these dogs with my Fight in the Shades active, because I am quite sure I will take less damage with the Fight in the Shades, and of course the dogs aren't as significant seeing how much they have lost already. I do take some archer fire in the back, but fortunately I am resilient enough to withstand most of it. This is basically where their first engagement against us failed. We just survived it, they used their war dogs, they used their archers, I can easily withstand it and push onward. And that is what I shall do. I shall force my units onto the watchtower, forcing them to leave. I have archers behind me, which I actually hope that they were closer to me. Because when going gets tough, I want to be able to defend them. Actually, during this match, they don't need that much defending. And, well, these are the archers trying to take me down. And I ain't gonna dismiss or disable my Fight in the Shades. I'm willing to fight these dogs while my Fight in the Shades is active. I may take a bit more losses, but at least I won't expose myself for any form of nasty range fire, especially anything like barrage. Fight in the Shades can be another tactical tool when used against dogs. You often have a choice. If there are opponents like javelins that are just relying on the dogs to force you out of Fight in the Shades and then try to take you on, you are probably a bit safer left in the Fight in the Shades. It is often dependent on the situation and the engagement you are in. Don't get me wrong, the dogs can still kill you when you are fighting the Shades and fighting against them. You have a huge loss at your melee defense, but you are just free from receiving any humongous damage from archers, slingers, javelins. Although some of the damage may still bypass Fight in the Shades. Actually, for a moment here, I thought I was safe. I disabled my Fight in the Shades, so they used the barrage. And just to avoid it, I stopped my unit, so the first hit missed. The second, third and fourth salvo still hit me, but as long as I'm standing still and not charging at them or anything else like that, I have a great chance of blocking most of those missiles. If opponents don't have catapults, pikemen or anything else that can easily counteract you, Leonidas can be an incredible tool that can push to incredible lengths and force opponents to retreat, like they're doing here. They are moving back and forth, but they're still mostly on the retreat. Often enough, to be successful at pushing towards the opponents with Leonidas, you simply require ranged support. And during this match, that is something that I got. So now I'm getting a bit of surprise. He used the Scorched Earth. My first idea wasn't that he might throw the javelins, it was that he might want to force me into that Scorched Earth, basically. Not allowing me to pass through it, or if I would want to pass through it, do so with huge losses. The phalanx probably wasn't the best starting choice here, but it was still better than turning around and trying to walk out of it because they threw javelins. And because they threw all three Scorched Earths, they kinda ruined it for themselves. Leonidas actually used to be kinda like the elephants. Nobody wanted to deal with you. You were just so nasty, you could not be bypassed. Pikemen are still pretty much treated the same way, but the idea is that you can hold your ground like no other commander. Well, basically I have done my part. I have forced them to run, I have forced them to disengage, and I have forced them to spread, basically. Although they failed themselves by spreading, that wasn't my doing. They could have easily gone all in the same direction. So this was pretty much an easy victory. I mean, if I could have not blocked all the missiles, the situation might have been turned the other way around. But as long as I do have the fight in the shades, I am quite capable upon forcing my claim on the opposing territories. So I just pushed them out and took their land. Yeah. So there isn't much more to it. I'm sending one of my units towards the opposing base to capture it, using this one to push away or scare away the barbarians, although I'm kinda getting hammered by them all the time, by the same unit also. Third one to seal off the other bottleneck, and well, it's not like they have many options left, so this was a simple victory. But okay, let's take a look at the scoreboard. So surprisingly enough, I have earned the most score in my team, and most of it isn't missile block. I have earned a little of everything. I captured with one unit, I earned capture score. Support score must have been for spotting opponents that the archers could shoot at. Offense must have been the little damage I did fighting the opponents. And defense is mostly missile block. So the archers that worked with me unearned a 4th and 5th place. They did okay. They actually did incredibly well for archers. They were the best archers, or one of the best archers in my team. But let's take a look at the opposing archers who tried to harass me all the way. There were actually 2 of them, and neither of them could deal with us. It's not like they were protected that well. It's just that their Wardog player wasted their Wardogs in a meaningless engagement, and after that tried to take me on with a futile effort of taking too much damage from the ranged units that were behind me. That was overly naive aggression, and I never suggest that. The archer players tried to do all they could, but they just couldn't force me out of fighting the shades or do any significant damage to me. And of course their barbarian commander, the Vercingetorix, did not support them. They could have tried to delay me, force me into phalanx, they could have had several chances of trying to deal or harass me, or perhaps even force me to multitask in defense of the archers. There are many different tactics, but standing still and hoping to burn with scorched earth doesn't play out that well if you are not willing to put any tactical thinking into it. So this was a simple way to use Leonidas to advance. Leonidas can be an excellent to seal off bottlenecks, any tight areas, or in general defend the ranged units. No horsemen ever like going through the spearmen. Plus, these spearmen can back even one of the hardest punches against the sword infantries, with commanders like Germanicus, who actually can be quite hard to defeat. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.